Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Nairi and I am going to be working on a Bluebell Fairy Woods journal, junk journal, and today I'm going to work out what to do with the cover and the topper, etc. So I've had a bit of a thought around it, struggled with a few things. So basically I've got 4 signatures for this journal. So I've got myself a cereal box here, and so I want the width to be quite big here. Yeah, so I need to have a big width on it so that we can fit the 4 signatures in. So let me just grab a signature so you can see that the signature is going to fit really nicely within this size Weetabix box. I've also got a back flap here that I'm thinking maybe I'll do some sort of folio inside, but I've never done a folio, so this could end up coming off and I might not be sure about that. But as you can see, I should be able to fit 1, 2, 3, 4 signatures in there. I'm also thinking of doing outside binding with the sewing, which is something I've never done. So I'm going to be covering the whole thing and then doing the signatures afterward. So the first thing to do is I'm going to strengthen the front and the side. So I hope you guys are doing okay and you're doing well. So I'm going to use, I think I'll use a glue stick, but guess what? I left the lid off. Bad news, isn't it? Okay, so let me just lay this out. I'm just gonna stick all these bits down. Is that gonna move? I mean, it should be alright with a glue stick. I don't really want to use art glitter glue all across this cardboard. This is a bit of a waste, isn't it? Because art glitter glue can be used on so many different things, but it's more a finer nozzle, so really it would be better to use this glue. So I think that I could have got away perhaps if I'm putting lots of material on here by not strengthening it, but being as it's going to be a full signature journal and it's going to be packed quite full, I was a little bit uncomfortable with that, so that's why I'm adding in a little bit of extra reinforcement. Excuse me. You'll see in a minute that I have some like wadding, like an old cushion thing that I've cut down. So my biggest concern is how do you actually get through the signatures, through 2 lots of paper, through, you know, maybe 2 lots of material. So I'm a bit concerned about that, and I could struggle, but you'll see whether I struggle or I don't. I thought it's best for you to see everything. I don't think that that is cut down enough. Let me just cut a little bit more off of that. So I want the hinge flexibility there, don't I, when I'm bending it. I also had trouble deciding on what I want the, what's the word I'm looking for, the cover element to be. Because I had in mind I wanted to use a really beautiful lady on the front, but those images were quite big, and when I cut it down it just didn't look right. So I do have a beautiful lady, but she's smaller. Let me see, well that's still not quite right, is it? Let's just get this off and cut that down. So I hope you guys are doing okay. I said I didn't want to make the next journal before the last one was sold, and as to date it still hasn't, but I'm still confident it will. But I do prefer to just have one journal for sale at a time. But by the time I finish this one, I'm sure this will be several weeks worth. Let's hope that the other one has sold. Okay, now I do have quite a few things to show you, but today I'm just going to concentrate on this cover. So I've managed to pick up some really rare book finds, which are early enough that I can scan or photocopy. So I wanted to show you those, and I wanted to show you how that works and how you can kind of get book page easy at your fingertips sort of thing without actually destroying perhaps some nicer books. So that's that. It doesn't go right to the top, but as you'll see I do have plenty of other things that will be going on in a minute. And then this one, roughly cut them down. Should be alright like that, shouldn't it? Pretty much. It's just to give it that little bit of extra reinforcement when you know you're making a bigger journal, I think. This is not exciting, I realise, guys, but I did think about doing all of this off camera, and I thought, do you know what if some of you haven't done a cereal box type journal and you want to see? So I was like, okay, oh, so that's my water. So I was thinking I could just do it off camera, but actually you might like to see what I'm doing. So I'm strengthening it. There we go. Let's just check that we're all folding. I think we are folding nicely. This is not going to want to stick down today. If I need the glitter glue, I can use it, can't I? So that's that. Not sure how much I need to strengthen that one. I'm not sure if I want it yet. Okay, so that's that. That's the start. Now, this is the bit where I've cut down an old cushion cover. And to be honest, the fabric was quite pretty, but not what I'm looking for a bluebell wood. So bluebells are something they're the earliest plant that we have other than snowdrops in the UK. And it's a beautiful little sort of blue. It's an unusual blue, like a purpley blue. So this, I'm thinking, is going to give it some nice padding. So this is going to need Fabri-Tac, I think. Let me just put the lid on so that we're not ending up with dry glue. I could use the art glitter glue for this, but obviously I want it to be pretty secure now. I don't want anything moving around. Let's get it on. I shouldn't need too much of it. I hope that you guys are doing okay. We've got a pretty warm day today, actually. When I say warm, it's not warm, you know, but it's quite nice. I've been out with my son, who've just started to home educate him. We've been out and got some stuff for the dog and the cat, and sort of made him do a few things on his own while we were out. So that was quite nice. Doesn't actually matter which way around I have this, so I'll do it without the heavy print on the outside, because you'll see the fabric I've chosen is quite thin. I just really liked it and I thought it would look really nice. So that's giving it, so what this will do, it kind of gives her like a luxury feel to it. So if you buy wadding, this stuff in here, or anything like it to be fair, then you can get that feel. I was confused about whether I was going to do it down here, but then I thought I'm going to have to. But this is what I'm concerned about, is you'll see that I've got to try then to get a needle through all these layers. So I will do it on camera and then you can see if it's a fail or not. If it's a fail, I don't know what I'll do. I guess I will have to, that doesn't want to stick. Let me just put a bit of that down. I will have to either start again or think about a different way of putting the signatures in and not sewing them. And I've never done that before. I've never used elastic, so that will also be new to me. Let's get this on. Don't need a lot of this Fabri-Tac, to be honest, once it's running nice and smoothly. Let's move that there. Okay, put that on there. I didn't think you would need to see me cut all this down. You can see what I'm doing, just roughly getting it to the same size. That's a bit big up there, so I'll trim that in a minute. And then I've got a piece which isn't quite big enough for the middle, but again, I thought that would be okay as we're closing it. Hang on a minute, that's the outside, isn't it? Yeah, it feels nice actually. So that's going on the outside. It's not quite long enough, but I think having a bit of a gap will be alright. We'll soon find out. If not, I'll have to bulk it out. I still have more of that stuff available. I can just top and bottom it, if you know what I mean. I did wonder whether it would be giving it more shape if I didn't go all the way to the top. That's what I was wondering. Okay, so far so good. See, normally I'd like to let that dry, but we're not waiting for too much, are we? So let me just pop that on there a minute. Working in a very small space, everybody. You might probably realise that by looking at my desk. So yeah, I was wondering if this will then become something here, but who knows what that will be exactly. So let's just trim what we can see getting in the way. These are not my favourite scissors. They are okay for fabric, but they're not the best. These are better. Let's have these. I just want to make sure that you're in view, because you need to see what I'm doing to a certain extent, don't you? I'm sure you've seen people trim before, but there. Oh, okay. So let's trim right up. Possibly, I think I've got a bit of cardboard in there as well. That's all right. There's that one, and then let's do this one. I'm quite excited about doing this bigger journal. I've been doing some big journals, but I haven't done full signatures before, and I haven't done outside binding before. Binding? Signatures, whatever you want to call them. And I do think it's going to be more difficult, but try anything once, I think, isn't it? Right, okay. So now we've got the basic kind of situation. I do have this for this. Should we do it anyway? I'm just not sure how a folio is going to work. I guess it will be attached to this piece, but I'll have to do some research on the best way to do that. Let's go back to this. I'm not thinking I'm going to need the wadding on this bit, because it's almost like a fold-in bit, and I kind of don't want it to bulk out too much. So let's just put the extra card, but not the material on it. There we go. My one of my adult daughters is addicted to Weetabix. I don't know if you have Weetabix in your country. It's like these bisque type things made up bran, and she has them when she's feeding the baby in the middle of the night. She said she has the bowls lined up, so plenty of fibre there. Right, okay, so now I'll show you the material that I'm hoping to cover this with. It's the only I love the colour, but it's thin. Okay, so I am thinking we'll need to add, we need to cover the whole of this with this material. So hopefully you can see everything that I'm doing. Might go out of focus on a few things, but I'm sure you'll get the drift. So this fabric is big enough to go over the whole journal. There are gaps there, of course, for the hinge. But let's just see what we think about it, if it's going this way. Let me see. Just having a look to see what I think about horizontal. Not bad. It's a very thin fabric, so that is a disadvantage, because normally I might think about putting an upholstery on first, whereas this is very much a cotton, but it's cute and it means I can add other things onto the centres and stuff. I've got these. I'm not sure, I don't think that one will really, I like this one, but not sure how that would work. But anyway, yeah, I think I'm happy with it. So let's see if we can get it looking good bit by bit, shall we? I'm hoping that I can do this with you seeing, because there's not a lot of point if you can't see what I'm doing. So I am going to just chop quite a bit more off, so that we're not working with as much fabric, because it's going to make life a bit difficult, to be fair. So luckily we've got all these lines. It's really going to help me. Like so. And then I'm just chucking this on the floor at the moment, so literally nowhere else. Move my glass of water before we have a disaster. Coming up this way now. There's the glue. Let's cut this side. Once I've got a smaller piece of fabric to work with, it's going to be a lot easier to glue it down. But we don't want to overcut, so let's just not go crazy. Maybe we go here, just here. You can see how thin it is, which, as I say, is not a bad thing, but it just means that things will show through more. It's going to be a lot easier to stick down because it's thin, because upholstery fabric can be quite a challenge, to be fair. So maybe, because we've got this far, we stick this side first. I think that could be a good plan. So I've got to decide, do I want it on the inside, because this is the inside you're seeing here, or not? And I'm thinking I do have lots of other fabrics I can use, so maybe we don't. Let's come back to around about, say, here, and then I can have a different fabric on the inside, like a contrast. So I think that that would look nice. So try to do this without turning around again, so you can see what I'm doing. It's not very good cutting, Nairi, at all, but it will be covered with different things. That's the thing, you can worry about these things, but the chances are your base fabric is going to get covered by laces and contrast fabrics. It's not the end of the world. Right, so right where it is now is right where I'm going to put the Fabri-Tac. In fact, I'm going to put it on, you probably can't see what I'm doing, but I'm putting on that actual wadding type cushion thing that's already on the journal, because then I know that that bit's going to get stuck down. Again, don't need loads. When it's thin material like this, you just wouldn't try. It is creaseless material, but again, it's going to end up with other things on it. So I'm just going to go straight down on there. When we turn over in a minute, you'll see the effect. So coming back up with here, but obviously we have corners to worry about. So I am going to, see, I can't. I'm going to cut the corner here now, like this. Again, not going to overcut. Better to undercut than overcut, that's my motto, because you can't stick it back on again. I'm going to put a little bit on the edge of that wadding and of the cardboard as well, and then I'm going to pull it quite tight. Again, it doesn't matter, it's not massively tight because we will have other things going on, but let's just get it firm. And I think we're on. And then obviously we've got these corners to worry about here. It might be that I come back to that. Let's have a look, because yeah, I'm going to come back to that because they're two different kind of cuts. So we're going to be able to pull that up tight, but it might be that I need to trim it before we do that. So let's just put this lid on a mo, and can come right the way around here. Okay, so I don't know what that is. Well, I do. That's the glue drying, and that's the design underneath, I think you can see. So hopefully in a minute that will come right. Not to panic, everybody. Right, so I did say like thin material, that might be an issue, but it's okay. Right, so now we're going to do the same again, but this time I'm going to make sure that this is literally going up the wall now because I don't have any room in here. I'm not complaining, but I am complaining. I moved into my bedroom and there is no space. All right, I'm going to do the same. Push it quite tight though, and I'm going to put the glue on the wadding. And it would have been better if I spread it out better, but to be honest, on this wadding I don't think I can. So we're going to get the same problem of this, seeing this fabric come through the blue, but we're not going to panic about it because I do think once it's dry we might see the glue but we won't see the pattern. So I'm holding out hope that it's not as bad as it might first seem. Okay, so I'm coming down with that now. Make sure that that is next onto there, and now just making sure that we haven't stuck anything we don't want to stick on there. We're going to do this bit. As I say, I'm not putting a huge amount on here, just enough to get it stuck. Well, hopefully we'll be able to see I'm making good progress. I mean, this is not going to be as stressful for me as doing those signatures, I can assure you. I will be sweating. You won't see me sweating on camera, but I will be, because trying to do something like that in front of people, or knowing that people are going to see it, is quite something. Right, we're coming down here now. Make sure the material's straight. We just go straight down, and then we are going to have a little bit on, as you can't see, let's move up a little bit on the flap as well. So let's put a bit on here. I could use art glitter glue, but I'm not going to, because I don't want to have to go over stuff, and I'm not seeming to need much of this fabric tack to get it down on this thinner fabric. So let's just bring this up. And final bit is going to be this bit on here. And that's going to come up there. Okay. Now I'm going to get rid of some of the excess fabric so I can see what I'm doing with the corners and whatnot. I try not to overcut again, although I don't need too much excess. We've got loads of extra fabric, which is nice because they can come in as tabs and stuff on the pages of the journal. Okay, so now, as we can see, that is not right. Or maybe it is, it's just that that's a gap there, isn't it? Okay. I can see what's happened there because we don't have any wadding there or padding there, do we? So I have an idea as to how to overcome that in a minute. Okay, because that sticks down. I mean, that's nice, but obviously that looks nicer. These are the pink bits coming through from the other side, so I'm not too worried about that. But this gap here, where this is happening, I'm going to say that can't happen. I'm not sure if I can, I don't know that I even want to stick that down, because I don't want to see that gap there at all. So I think what I'm going to do, and also I didn't go up higher, so actually the answer to that was I should have. But a way around this is just to sort of say, well, this is the basis, and we're going to keep going with different layers, and then we don't need to worry. Or this is a possibility. This could end up going down like that. I think that's what I'll do first, is I'll get some of this going down over the gaps there so we don't see that. So it'll just bother me until we've done it. So let's do that first. This is Laura Ashley fabric, just little bits of it. So we can have that like that, and go up here. Come across here. There we go. So now if we stick that down, when it opens out, we're not going to get such an obvious, I say this, but we are, aren't we? Okay, so I need to do something about that, and I don't know what that's going to be. I'm not sure why I've got it there, I've got it there, but I haven't got it there. Well, do you know what? Let's, for a minute, let's do this anyway and see what happens. Maybe that could now be like that. Come across there. Oh, cutting something I shouldn't be. This is thick, so not upholstery thickness, but it's a good thickness. Turn this around. Alright, that's another layer. Let's get that one down. I mean, bearing in mind the cardboard itself would have been enough. It's not so much that the thickness isn't there for the strength, it's more the dip between the wadding, which obviously I'll know for another time you can't have that really. Although I don't know how the journal bends if you don't have a gap between the two bits of wadding really. I'm not sure, but I'm sure I'll learn as I am. And you're learning with me, aren't you? Have that there. It's pretty, isn't it? Okay. Okie dokie, so I had to recharge the battery of the camera. So what I've done to overcome this situation is put a little tiny bit of wadding there. And for this one, I've actually put it underneath because I've not stuck that material yet. So I'm hoping, I'm pretty sure, that's already stuck. I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay. And I found this really nice, I think it's a napkin. And I had several of those that I picked up from the charity shop. So I'm going to pop that on top. And hopefully we're back on the roads. I know it looked a bit like a disaster happening, and it kind of was for a bit, but with junk journaling there's always a way around things. If you know, give it a bit of thought, you can overcome situations. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So it might be that I cut that material down because I do like this here, this fabric, but this is nice and thick, you know, and we do need a bit of thickness going on the journal. I guess I was a bit optimistic thinking the striped one could be the main fabric because it is very thin. So that's a lesson for me to learn. I've never used a thin fabric like that before, so I guess I never thought about it, but just maybe something for you to know as well, isn't it, that you have to have the thickness there, or you have to layer, which is what I'm doing, layering up. And make sure we get this in the right place. And it's really important to get the cover right on your journal. When I made my first one, I didn't appreciate that. It was almost like the cover was an afterthought, and I was really intent on getting the inside right. But actually, when you're selling it, if you're selling it, then the front is what people see first of all, isn't it? So I have another bit of this. You can see again, it's just this bit here is the extra flap, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so that's coming over further. Okay. Let's get this stuck down properly because I think I need to commit to it rather than just putting it on the wadding. Let's just get it done down a little bit more. I'm going to have to cover up that fabric there. mean, obviously we've got that edge on the outside. I guess I could tuck it in actually. There we go. Solved that, didn't it? Yeah. Get that in. It doesn't have to mirror, the fabric doesn't have to mirror, to be honest, on both sides if you don't mind a patchwork effect. But this is the way I appear to be going at the moment. It's sort of matching it up really. I've got all sorts of lovely lace as well, so that is going to feature for sure. Okay, so when we close the journal, if we can get our heads around this, then I think you can gradually see it coming together. I realise that it's taking a bit of imagination at the moment, isn't it? Because everything's hanging off, but I think you can see where we're going with it. It's whether I cut that down, because obviously I don't have as much on this side, and whether something else ends up on there or what really. Yeah, let's just not make too many decisions at the moment. So I'm going to cut this one down a smidge, kind of there. I know I'm probably off camera a bit for a minute, but I'm coming back on. Oh, I really like this fabric. It's a bit dull, but it's got a lovely feel to it. When I saw it, oh gosh, sorry. When I saw it in the charity shop, I thought, wow, I love that. Okay, so now, because I've not got a pinking edge on the other side, I'm just going to nip this off as well, because I don't want that edging to be like that really. Albeit, bound to end up with some lace on the edge, to be fair, so it won't matter at all. I'll show you the lace I have. The main one that I'm thinking of using anyway. This is so nice, because it lets through pattern in the middle. So this could really be something that goes down the centre here. That's what I was imagining. Like that. Oh my goodness, that looks so nice, doesn't it? Oh, that looks so nice. Okay, I'm definitely going to overcut more than what I need. And I do have quite a bit of it anyway, because I don't want to undercut. So just allow quite a bit of that. Use the spots to help me cut straight, she says. I definitely think that needs to go. I need to work out where the middle of the journal is, because it's not exactly where I've cut that material, I'm pretty sure. So that is where the width is there. Yeah, I mean, I need to I think I'll just trim that off a little bit. I'm not worried if it's not ideally central, because by the time I've finished with this, no one's going to care, but I can clearly see that it is overhanging more, so let's just cut that there, just a smidge. And even this up a bit as well. Okay. Just get you down a little bit more, my love. It's already drying that glue. Fabri-Tac dries so quickly when you don't have a lid on. It's like within 5 minutes it started to dry up, so it's a bit of a problem. There we go. Okay, let me stick that down also. It does take a while, guys, doesn't it, to get it right, I guess. So I hope you're enjoying the process rather than me giving you the finished thing without you seeing my struggles. I'm hoping that it's helpful to see the process, building up things as we're going along. Okay. I need to open this journal up. It's sorted out those dips, okay, maybe giving us a bit of a bump, some bumps, but hey ho, I can live with a few bumps. Okay, so now I just want to make sure I get it as central as I can. And just close it. I think that's pretty good there. Okay. Now probably just, I don't know, stick. I don't think I'm going to stick it in the middle of the lace because it'll be all gluey, but we'll see, because it may not be enough to do it like this. We might need it in the middle. That's nice. Okay, I think we're getting there a little bit more now. I'm a bit happier with it. It's difficult when I'm waiting for things to dry. Obviously I'll put something on the edge of there. We won't leave that like that. Okay, just trim off. Let me get my lid back on my glue. Everything kind of fairly level up now, so we can think that's okay. Right. So you need to have a little bit more glue up here, but that is sort of hanging over. I can feel that that's quite wet on my hands, so that's the only issue, like with rushing forward, because I'm not really stuck yet. Alright, just doing the under layer at the minute. I'm not too worried about the other layers because I can sort of fudge around with that, to be honest with you. Okay. Although that seems to want to come with it, doesn't it? Alright. Let's get this on. Stuck down under there? No. And then if I'm not happy with the corners, then I'll put some corner thingies on it. I've never done that yet because I'm not sure about them, so you know, let's see if we can get a reasonable corner going. Seems not too bad there. Okay, so I can see my battery is going to run out again, so I feel like that's enough for one video. But when I come back to you next time, I will tidy all this up and bring all these corners in so we haven't got all these bits of material flapping out. And then we'll start working on whether we want extra materials on the edges, on the backs, and we'll work on the topper as well. So I hope that's been useful to you. It's been a bit of a struggle, but I hope you've enjoyed seeing my struggle, and I'll see you on my next video. Thank you.